welcome to the RSGPodcast episode 73. There's 4 of us tonight. We have a special guest. His name's Marvin.
He's awesome.
He's been here before. He talked to you about the controller. That $100 and some controller.
Jackpot.
Still worth it?
Oh, yeah. No, that's awesome.
All right. But we got a few things to talk about tonight. We're just going to jump right into them. Just not even give you a heads up. So that's how we roll.
No warning whatsoever.
Surprise topics.
That's right. Random. So, yeah. Jessica Jones is getting a season.
Season 2.
Season 2. Yeah.
They also hinted at a Punisher series is in the works too.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about. No? Not so much?
As long as... No. Those movies were really bad. Really bad.
Yeah, but the Netflix series have been really good.
Yeah.
No, I haven't even seen that. I did scroll over that and be like, oh, I need to check that out.
They're definitely worth it. The Daredevil one especially was really awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's probably my favorite so far. Just because of the shots they've done. Technically, it's been my favorite to watch. I think Jessica Jones was pretty good, and I really liked the bad guy Jessica Jones. But so far, Vincent D'Onofrio, also a great bad guy. It's been pretty good.
And the fight scenes seem more real because they're not like Avengers level superheroes. They're more like street level superheroes who go out and fight crime, but are generally normal folk.
So they're like C-list superhero C-list.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to pick a fight with this dude who's mugging a lady. I might take a couple punches, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Unlike,
But they have moderately... Like Daredevil. Like, I don't...
So like Casey
know anything about
Jones?
Daredevil or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally kind of wish that both especially in Daredevil, he was just a slight bit more badass than he was. That dude ended up fucked up a lot during that series.
But he was just getting started, though. Like, he wasn't really...
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, plus he didn't have a suit.
Ben Affleck, every time I saw that title, I haven't even touched that. I was so traumatized.
This will clear that.
This will clear it up, yeah.
It's got Rosario Dawson in it, too.
Oh, well, I might have to reconsider that one.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, I'm excited about that. Jessica Jones, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. I'd like to know what they're going to do next with it, though. I mean, they killed off Kilgrave, which...
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where they go after that, because the Alias title that it's based off of was just basically about getting rid of the Purple Man. Like, she has other adventures and stuff, and she joins the Luke Cage Mercenaries for Hire group or whatever, but... So we'll interesting to see what they do as far as Jessica Jones
Do
goes.
you think they're going to start leading up into the Defenders, or is that another year or two away, you think?
Well, I think Defenders will come out next year sometime.
Okay.
So who are these purple men? Are they from Africa?
Oh my god.
All right,
He's an
check.
English gentleman
Just
who...
making sure we
He
got
was
some problems.
in the comic book. He was a mutant whose skin was purple, so they called him the Purple Man.
Or Mr. Purple.
Or
They
Mr.
called him Mr.
Yeah.
Purple.
Mr.
And this,
Purple.
they just called him Kilgrave. They didn't call him Mr. Purple, but he did wear a purple suit all the time.
Right, he was wearing purple all the time.
All right, that's acceptable.
Yeah, they were not from Africa.
I just had to double check. Hollywood be doing some crazy stuff. So
Speaking of Hollywood doing some crazy stuff, the Oscar nominations came out.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
And Hollywood has completely whitewashed the Oscars this year.
no black folks.
We can't
No.
call it whitewashed. 'Cause it's not technically. They didn't cast.
Oh, that's
people,
true.
but they've
true.
only selected white actors and actresses for the Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress nominations.
Didn't that one movie come out that was supposedly really good last year?
There's
Well,
probably a few.
With the guy who was, no.
Creed, Straight Outta Compton,
No, what's that dude?
Concussion.
Will Smith.
He played the bad guy on Firefly, and he was like a slave. Wasn't that movie last year?
Oh, I know
Or was
you're
that
talking
12 Years a
about.
Slave?
Yeah, was that
That was
2014?
That was 2014, yeah.
I'm saying, I was like, I'd be surprised.
Which that one
But
didn't get
also-
nominated either.
Also, no white or no. All white people last year also.
Yeah, it's all, yeah. Like that isn't it's not actually a good excuse at all.
Different.
Right.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Chiwetel Ejiofor, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. But they also had Straight Outta Compton this year and Creed, which people thought maybe Michael B. Jordan would get a nomination, but everybody also saw Four Stick, so
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Creed, but I don't know if I would be like, oh my god, he needs an award for that.
I haven't seen it because I didn't like any of the Rocky movies, so I didn't. I'm like.
This is like Rocky meets Karate Kid to me. Like, it really was, because he was like whiny and bitchy the whole time, and I was like, oh, okay, well, oh, now he's gonna stand up and be okay. Oh, now he's claiming his heritage. Oh, jeez. And then at the end of the movie, I was just kind of like, I mean, it was okay. But I happened to see that in New York, and in New York, movies are like $20 a pop. So then, I mean, $20 for that movie, I'm just like,
Gonna buy dinner for this.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't seen those movies, Creed and Straight Outta Compton, so I can't make a good judgment call.
I haven't seen Straight Outta Compton either.
Yeah. So I can't make a good judgment call on whether or not like this is something that is happening because white people be racist, or if this is something that's happening because there were no good nominations otherwise.
Right. Well, but
if those were the only two movies that came out, though, I mean, those typically like those genre of like leading black actor movies don't really get awards typically. They just don't.
Right. And maybe they should, but
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm not surprised.
right, but they're not typical Oscar bait movies, which is the problem.
I guess there can be something to be said that like
Who wants Oscar bait movies?
Yeah.
If you want money.
What we looking me for?
You should know.
I watched the Oscar bait. Who likes them? I don't know. Because I'm the whitest guy here. Is that why? Is that why I should know?
No, you and Ryan are in a close race. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Ryan's like way more street than me.
Ryan got arrested once, you know. You got to feel that unjust treatment from police officers.
Yeah.
That's
I was
true.
not charged, and everything was dropped. I was fine. For the
You were
record.
innocent.
Yes, I was innocent, that word.
Yeah. But, you know, it was kind of the white thing, you know, you helped some stranger, like, let me help you with that. And they ended up getting you amped up, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All good, man.
I mean, there's something to be said that, like, maybe there's a problem because there weren't enough black actors to be nominated in the first place.
I just don't think their movies came out. I mean, obviously the movies come out when they come out, but I don't really think there was any big name movies that came out, really. But to be honest, like last year, I didn't really watch that many movies. I mean, most of them were crap. They got shot down before even.
Yeah.
I think the only movie I saw last year was, well, obviously I saw Star Wars last
Right.
year.
It was like you at least saw Star Wars. I know that.
And
Mad Max and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see that one yet either. No. But I think I saw The Martian. That was it.
Matt Damon is not black.
Yeah, I know.
Good call, bro.
Thanks.
I wasn't sure. But
Good call, though.
Now that I figured it out. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why the Academy Awards are really like the end all be all of all award shows anyway. Like why everyone cares that much about them.
You get those 50 Cent movies in there. Yeah. With Val Kilmer.
Oh.
Val Kilmer.
Oh, man. I invite you to check those out. Just do it.
There was a movie I heard about recently that I haven't seen called Soul Man. Have you heard of this movie?
Mm-hmm.
This was like back in the 80s. Just a little aside, but it was cracking me up because it is about a white guy who basically goes into blackface.
Oh.
It's not. He takes some kind of medication to make his skin look darker so he can get a scholarship into Harvard.
Nope. Haven't heard of that.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, we were just racist as shit back in the 80s, weren't we? You just didn't get.
Really were.
Oh, what was that movie with John Leguizamo in the 80s? Oh, where he was like a comedian.
2-1 Food. Oh, that was the 90s, sorry.
It's really not never get down that much.
Yeah, he was in a lot of movies, though.
Well,
Yeah.
he ended up going to Columbia being like Hunted, like The Most Dangerous Game, but he would do impressions of things, and I went back and watched that with Sam because she's like, oh, it's one of my favorite movies. And it was extremely racist. Like, every single thing that he would go into was just way out there. You should
Wow.
check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always the worst. Someone's like, "Oh, it's my favorite thing," and then they
Yeah.
haven't seen it in a while. and
Right.
they watch it again. They're like,
We were both.
I
We
had
were
no
both
idea.
pretty shocked.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a little more less comfortable with it now than I thought I was when I was 12.
Right. Yeah.
But you can't say anything though, because
Right.
you already put yourself out there.
Oh, I said something. I was like, really?
Is that so? Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Like,
Well,
I have to feel like the Academy's a bunch of old white people, right? So
right. Well, I feel like
Yeah.
it's the longest going circle jerk there ever was.
Right, no, it's totally like
It's
a
like-
rigged thing for sure.
Right, because it's those people like giving themselves an award for something. Or
Bro,
whatever.
I
It's
don't-
like only other actors in the Academy vote for the acting, whatever. So like they pick the best of themselves, which is why everyone used to be like, oh, because they know their craft, so they know who did the best job or whatever. I'm like, nah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it's not really like a people's choice type thing.
Right.
You know, and
Well,
like again, it's just one of those things. That's why there are like black award shows to do that, because
Yeah.
obviously then, it's peers, picking the best of themselves also.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and nobody forces everyone to watch all the movies that are on the nomination list.
yeah.
So if they didn't see Creed, if they didn't see Straight Outta Compton, they wouldn't even they wouldn't even think to choose them.
Oh, that's even
You know?
worse.
So, yeah, but they're absolutely not forced to watch all the movies. So,
we're good. Anyway, let's move on.
yeah.
I guess. What was that, Ryan?
Oh, charger. I was gonna get it, but it's at the house. I forgot it.
Uh oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
I think.
In a non-usual topic for us,
Yeah.
there's a guy who this week came out and said that he's starting to create child-sized sex dolls for pedophiles.
Bruh.
So
This is the topic.
so that they could get the urges out without harming any actual children.
Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do. He
Yeah.
wants to make.
But let's not fool
Yo.
ourselves. That shit does not work.
Guaranteed
Right.
though, that motherfucker's garage or his basement's finna get raided like at least some point this week. No, they're just dolls. Like, okay, yeah.
Right.
There's
He's on
actual,
the watch list.
there's images of some of them out there you can see. I don't know if those are the actual images of the dolls,
Yeah,
but they
I
are
don't know.
very.
They had like a Fisher
childlike.
Price lunchbox.
No, but they were wearing like overalls.
You
and shit.
say there were some that were, but there was others that were just like straight up anime,
Yeah.
like style,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, 4chan, you should stop making products.
Yeah.
4chan's doing it?
I don't know if it's actually 4chan, but
Oh, bro.
it wouldn't surprise me. These
Yeah.
guys are regular on 4chan.
I don't even know what to say to that. Like, yo, man.
It
Like,
doesn't work.
Like, okay, let's just say it does make it into mass production. I mean, all that's gonna do is bring light to the subject that it's not as bad as it is, and then somewhere maybe 5 years down the line, somebody someone that you are gonna meet is gonna be like, yeah, so I got this sex doll, and then you're gonna be thinking it's this, and then it's gonna be like a little kid with his hand over its eyes, like, oh,
Oh my god.
oh, jeez.
Oh Jesus.
Right,
But the
right.
thing
With,
is, like, it's
with
never.
a little handheld video game and a Fisher Price lunchbox and some Play-Doh.
It'll never like make it to like mass production. There's no way.
But you're absolutely right. That wouldn't stop anything.
No,
It just.
it doesn't get the urges out. Like masturbation doesn't get the urges out. It's like you masturbate one day and the next day you're like,
Yeah, I don't want to have sex.
I don't want to have sex.
I got it. I'm done. I'm good. I'm done. No.
Like it's a temporary thing at best.
It's not even that. It is what you settle for when you can't do the real deal.
Thank you, Marv. This is exactly what I said, and you were echoing my very comments. I appreciate it.
That's unacceptable. Oh man, I wish I could. Like, did they have to go in front of someone and be like, I want to create this product like Shark Tank, and have to pitch that to somebody? Like, I wish I could have been around there. Like, right? They'd be looking at them like, no.
No.
Oh, that would have been the
What,
best
do
Shark
what?
Tank episode ever.
Bro, they'll just go to like some third world nation and get them all
Just get it
produced
mass
there.
produced in
China.
And right,
Indonesia
what I mean?
somewhere.
Yeah. So basically, isn't anyone going to give a fuck? So basically, they're going to have child workers making them anyway.
That's funny. Most of the people who would buy those dolls also like to go to third world nations.
But
Yeah. That's because there's more kids than there's food in third world nations.
Yeah.
oh my god, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Dude, what do you say? Like,
I hope that the internet just attacked that guy. Like,
Well, it just, I mean, and what you're doing is, okay, I understand this shit exists, all right? And I understand that his thought process, hopefully, isn't that he wants to fuck kids and help other people, like, live that fantasy. Hopefully, he's serious about, like, oh, well, hopefully they'll screw less kids and murder less kids.
Right.
no, it's a market. It's a no.
It is. It is absolutely bullshit. I agree with you. You know, but it doesn't. It's you're not actually helping anything, and all you're doing is saying, "Hey, it's okay to feel this way."
Sex dolls are not for sexually deranged people. They're for people with fucking fetishes, and it
Right.
doesn't solve anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a fun little topic.
Because even amongst those people, you got the weird, creepy people who are all about, like, this is a real person and it's a doll. And someone who's just trying to, get their rocks off, and so that it's almost, I guess, good enough, is going to look at that person and be like, you're weird. So it's probably the same thing with this. Like, that's, man, what's wrong with the world? What's wrong with the world today?
No, you're right, though, because some of those people are going to make up stories. They're going to. Some people are going to be like, this is my kid Kyle. This is. He likes Transformers.
Like buying it toys and shit.
Right.
Oh God.
You know it's going to happen, dude. You know it's going to happen.
Oh man.
He's playing again, kids.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, but one thing though, if it takes off now, you find out that movie theater in that area will be quiet as a motherfucker when movies come out, because it'll be some real kids in there.
Oh jeez.
Oh,
So
man.
terrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I take that back.
It's too late now.
No take back seats.
No big matches. Recorded
Yeah.
forever.
So yeah, that's super creepy.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say there, man. Like, and I'd be reading shit like that online, man, and if I came across that, I think I would have just lost it. I would have just stood up and then just tipped my desk over.
Yeah, that's an
World is over.
Yeah. You just shut it down, but that's enough internet for today. We're good. We're good.
Right.
I'm gonna go do something else.
So, I guess moving on to less uncomfortable topics. The Division, set to release in March. Some gameplay of the alpha has come out for the Xbox, and there's some uproar about like the graphics quality, the actual quality itself of like the resolution looks fine. The textures look fine, but apparently there's a lot of frame rate drops and stuff that's causing.
I want to just take a moment and go back a few phrases of what you just said. You said the graphics and the textures look fine. When that game was announced, it was amazing looking. It was totally amazing. And like even the interface doesn't even look the same. Like, no, I'm like borderline ready to just go cancel my collector's edition reservation.
Have you seen the new everything? Have you seen the new stuff? You think it's crap? It doesn't look any different than it did back when they released it. It's just that it's like 2.5 fucking years later.
No. It looks way different. Like, I'm not sure what video you looked at, but the one they put the E3 footage right next to like the actual gameplay footage that they've released, and it's night and day difference. Like when they're like showing the thing where you're going through the inventory and he like pulls up his watch, and like on the E3 thing it's clear and you see all the different things to pick. When you hit select for the inventory now, it's just like the screen that comes up just like your typical inventory screen. You can pick.
I did see that.
And like and this could just be because it's in beta. Obviously, maybe they're running like a decreased game engine.
They're saying it's alpha, and a lot of people are saying don't worry about it, but those menus aren't going to change.
Well,
that's the way it's going to look.
I mean, the menus I'm not too worried about, but like the actual texture, like you can see that it doesn't have the aliasing that it had, or the anti-aliasing. You can see a lot of screen tearing around objects and whatnot. And the other thing, it's not as reflective as it was. So the puddles aren't like defined and shiny
for the Xbox. But I mean, you had to expect that there was going to be a graphics drop for the consoles.
I mean, typically those types of like frame rate, yes, but the actual textures aren't necessarily that far of a drop. I mean, if you look at some of the other titles that come out, it's never been that drastic. So, me personally,
the game still looks really good. It still looks really good. It doesn't look as good as it did when it was just
it looks like
a demo.
It looks like a 360 game.
On the 360, it does. We haven't seen too much of the PC actual PC alpha footage. I've seen some of the Xbox footage,
Well, they're still
and
keeping
just
the
the
PC.
E3 footage.
Right,
They're
but
keeping the
still,
PC stuff under wraps right now. They're not letting anybody talk about it.
The
Oh, really?
jump,
But,
Yeah.
but Marvel's not playing on 360, it's playing on Xbox One.
yeah, the jump.
So
Or not
it would look like
360.
an Xbox 360.
I'm sorry, I meant Xbox One. It doesn't look like a 360 game. It looks like an Xbox One game.
What?
Yeah,
Bro, like it looks flat. It looks flat, and like
it doesn't look that bad.
One of the difficult or the differences from Xbox 360 and Xbox One is that they were able to do those high texture renderings where things are shiny and add depth of field, and that game looks flat.
It's still there. I don't know. I disagree. I think it's still there. It still looks pretty good.
All I can say is all of the games that I've played on Xbox One, only the latest releases like Tomb Raider, Fallout, and actually Fallout doesn't really count because it's not that type of a game, but Halo 5, Need for Speed, like it looks like a next-gen game. But this game, in its alpha state, it doesn't look that way to me. I mean, that was the first thing that came into my head is disappointment. I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not used to what the 360 should look. It honestly looked fine from the footage I saw, but there's textures in there that you wouldn't be able to have on the 360 by.
it needs to have, and that's what I'm thinking. I think maybe like there's another like high end that they're gonna turn like the bloom effects and whatnot, because that's what's missing. Because like anything that happens like in action or whatever, there's no blurs, none of that. It just looks flat. And those are the things that make your eye think this is a popping image off of the screen type deal. And
I like how the thing that makes it better is when they blur the image.
I mean the steam coming out of his mouth in the snow, that's gone. That wasn't in the beta or the alpha footage that was there anymore.
I didn't look that closely.
Like it was missing a lot of like detail that was there. And I mean, again, I would expect that to some degree, especially with having the frame rate capped at 30 frames per second or whatever.
A lot of the stuff we did see beforehand was nothing more than demo footage. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Roby.
You wanna
What
make
Roby
excuses?
says here. What excuses? No, it's
It
not
sounds
excuses.
like you're making
It's how it always works. It's how it always works. They're like, look at this really super awesome, pretty game,
Right.
and that's never the way it ends up looking, almost ever.
Destiny came out looking exactly how they said it was.
Like
now,
shit?
In terms, and even same with Halo, those games both came out looking exactly the way they said they would be.
I haven't played Halo 5, so I can't comment to that.
Halo
Need
5's
for
really
Speed
nice.
came out looking the same way, and so did Star Wars Battlefront.
Battlefront looks really pretty.
They all came out looking the way it is. So obviously, and that's the thing, like. Even though the Xbox has been out for what 2-3 years now, 2 years, 3 years.
The one, yeah, I think it's been like,
Is
it two?
I want to say
2 years? Yeah, it's 2
I wanna say
years.
November
To be fair, there wasn't much in the way of actual gameplay for Battlefront that existed out there, like that we could really take from and go, okay, this is how the game's gonna look.
Oh, yeah,
And it doesn't look that good on the on the Xbox One. Like it looks okay on the Xbox One. It looks ridiculous on the PC. Looks really good.
But that's the thing, though. Like, even though look, console gamers understand that. Like, it's always going to look better on PC, but the disparity between the two isn't that great usually. And in this case, it is. And when you look at hardware, like the hardware between the Xbox and like a standard run-of-the-mill PC at this point, there's no reason it should be that far apart. Like, it's not that far behind technologically.
It's getting farther and farther every week.
Well, I mean that's always the deal. Like if a game, okay, all these new or graphics cards that come out, you're gonna come out with a situation where like, I think what is in Nvidia, what is it, a 980 right now?
980 is top. Yeah.
Like the top dog on campus,
Yeah.
and they'll drop it down to a 990. They'll probably just drop off another digit or whatever. But regardless, the games that come out that are optimized for that are going to look great on any hardware that is similar to that, period. So if a new game comes out when a new video card comes out, then it'll look great on that card, but the 980 is not going to be not that far behind. You might not be running it at, like, if there's 7 tiers of graphics settings, you'll be able to run it at 6, no problem.
But I guess the question is, what does the Xbox One sit then, like, as far as graphically capable? Because, I mean, it's been out how long now? Like
a year and a half, basically.
Year and a half, 2
right?
years, something like that. At least 2 years. At least
It
a
was
year and a
November
half.
14.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, it was November 14, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and they also, I mean, a lot of the hardware that goes into that also has been in there since, like, long in development, so... I mean, where does it stand? I actually don't know that. That's a good question.
I mean, I can't, like I said, it's not like as great as a top-end PC where you have 3 video cards in there. It's not running like that.
It's not as good as a middle-end PC. Like,
I would say it's... I would say
as far as
it would
your
be-
like standard PC, like
I think it would be right there with like your basic entry-level PC.
my PC is middle of the road, and I can play games on my PC that look significantly better than anything on the PS4 that I've played.
Were they games
Fallout's
that
a good
were...
example.
Well, that's different though,
I think
because...
you're misjudging where the middle of the road is.
I am?
I think so.
How's that?
'Cause I don't think it's actually. I don't think yours is because you bought your graphics card, what, 960?
It's a 960. It
Right.
has 8 gigs of DDR3.
Yeah. And when did the 960 come out?
That's middle of the... You don't think that's middle of the road? Dude,
No.
that's middle of the road.
I think the bottom end of the road is a lot farther away than you think it is.
Why are we talking about the bottom? We're talking about the middle and the top.
Yeah, but you think you're in the middle, but I think you're at like 75% of the road and not 50%.
It's middle.
Well, that's tricky because, you know, like obviously the 900 series video cards have like the highest graphics processor that's available. And when you talk about 980, 960, 970, whatever, that's where they start turning off some of the CUDA cores and some of the stream processors. So you have like a slightly scaled back variant. So that's why you get it at a lower cost.
Yeah.
So even though you have a 960 or whatever, it's still a top-line graphics processor. If you had like an 860 or a 760, that's when you start talking about this is where...
It's a low.
And you
It's a
think that
low
the
end
vast
960.
majority of people are running. That there are as many people who are running something better than your
We're talking about
960.
we're talking
I'm
about
middle of
gamers.
the-
Are we talking about gamers here, or are we talking about just
I'm talking
people
about
with computers?
people who play games in general.
Okay.
People who play games.
All right.
Okay, I'm talking about real games. I'm talking about Facebook games. People who engage in online gaming.
Farmville.
Right. I'm talking about Facebook games.
The only thing I have in my
Angry
computer.
Birds. I mean, people who play WoW, like people who play MMOs, all that stuff. You think that there are as many of them who have better than your 960 as have worse than your 960.
We're only talking about my graphics card. Everything else in my computer is old.
Right.
Like, the processor is 5 years old, the RAM is 5 years old, the motherboard's 5 years old. Like, I put a 960 and a new power supply in there.
I think
like,
that-
it's still pretty much middle grade PC. It was top end when I bought it. And if you're saying that my top end 5-year-old computer is still top end, you're insane.
No, but I'm saying it's better
The
than-
graphics card is good.
Right.
But that's it. And the graphics card is still the low-end 960 that exists, not even the high-end
Yes, but
960.
in reference to the way the
Well,
graphics are produced
960
on your PC, which what we're talking about is graphics. Your new graphics card is the most important thing in
The
that.
60s, the 60 series, the X60 series of any video card is middle of the road, period. Like, at the time when I built
Exactly.
my PC, I had 3 560 Ti's in there, which are the middle of the road. I didn't have 580s, because those would have been like 500 a pop.
Exactly.
So-
like the fact of the matter is like the number you're looking at is 9. That's not the important number
That's
here.
not the number I'm looking at.
What number are you looking at then?
The number I'm saying that there are a lot of other people out there who have older PCs just like this, because there are a lot of people who
Okay,
are gamers.
here's a question. Which
who
one's
are
better, Robbie?
Also dads.
Which one's better?
Who also can't afford to upgrade all their shit.
No, seriously, this is a serious question. Which one's better,
I'm
a
not
780 or a 960? Which one's better?
The 780.
Okay, I have a middle of the road PC.
I mean, it depends, actually. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of qualifying factors in there in terms of hardware that dictate whether it's a great card. And there's a website that I always use to do that as a PC benchmarking website where they'll
Oh,
actually
yeah.
take that. And actually, if you look at the
love
trend
that website, actually.
of like processors and video processors, you know, they have actually plateaued in a degree where, you might have a processor chip that's like 6 years old, and it's still, maybe it doesn't have as much multifunction processors that it has and some of these little bells and whistles, and it might not be as energy efficient, but in terms of like raw performance, I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, maybe it's not, you were talking like 1,000-point difference, and I mean, like, then you're talking about rebuilding a PC based on a new motherboard because you need a new socket, and all that stuff. So,
well, I think that what is considered, I guess it depends on what you consider to be middle ground. Because middle ground, in my opinion, like, is much closer to the top end. Like, I agree with you there. It is, but as far as like actual serious computers go. Like, serious gaming computers go, it's at best middle. At best middle.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
If you're going to run, like, Arc or something like that, I couldn't do that. I could do that in middle graphics on Arc Survival.
Yeah.
Well, like, I couldn't run that at full bore, hardly at all. Anywhere close to it, even.
Right.
But even still, I mean, the console has always been, it's almost like, you can consider a console kind of like an iPhone. It is its own environment, and they make games to utilize that own environment to the best of its capability. So when they show a game, because even like when they had the demo at E3, it looked different. They weren't playing on PCs.
It did look a lot different. Well, I thought the E3 demo was a PC demo, was it not?
Not the first E3
sure.
when they first announced it. They had it there, I thought, this last day E3 that was there, where they actually had people playing it.
Yeah, they had a playable demo.
Did they?
On the
Okay.
Xbox.
Right, like, so I'm not even sure that, and I'm not 100% sure that it was Xbox, but either way, regardless, the hardware that the Xbox has is capable of doing some of that stuff. And the fact that it's scaled back, it's so scaled back in such a degree that to me is either alarming in the fact that either they're not fully done with the game, being that it's an alpha and they haven't put all the filters and all that.
It is an
on
alpha
there.
release.
So maybe, because obviously that stuff is going to make it harder.
Well, I mean, here's what I'm seeing. All right, this is what I'm saying. Either A, they're not making the game graphically amazing, even though they've showed demos where they've had it graphically amazing. Either A, they're doing that because fuck us, the gamers, you'll accept what we give you, or B, because there's some other reason why they can't do it. Well, haven't done it.
That's what I was going to get into. There's like some speculation on my part for that, is that it's either A, like again, like and this is something that's been pretty big about Ubisoft from what I've seen. They have these great grand ideas before they have it successfully done. So they're like, oh, you can do this, and you can teleport your friends into the game, and you can do this, and you can pull on your cell phone and pull up, and you can teleport other people into the game, all in real time. And as gamers, we're like, oh god, this is gonna be awesome! Hold on, I gotta call my friends up and tell them, and then we get all hype. And then Ubisoft is like, oh crap, we have to actually do that.
Right.
And then it comes out like, well, we couldn't do this, and so in order to make it work, we have to change things. Yeah. And that's why I'm thinking the menu changed. You know what I mean?
Which is a shame. I did like the original menu. Though I did find out that there's some kind of achievement for closing all the doors, because remember how closing the door was like the big thing in the demo? But if you close all the doors, apparently there's some achievement for it. And all the cars.
So there's that, and it could be a combination of that, or it could just, like I said, be that the game in that particular stage, because obviously we as gamers also don't know where they are in their production process either. So if they're testing,
we know shit hits in March, so
well, we do know that
it better be relatively
that's
far.
True. I mean, it's pretty close to being. It's been pushed a few times, but like in this case, we don't know if. At that point, they're testing a particular and this is from my work as my actual job. Like when they do testing, I mean, they might turn variables on and off and whatnot if they're just trying to sheer test, like, what is it going to do if we have this many people on the server?
And it could just be stress testing. A lot of the alphas and betas anymore are nothing more than stress tests.
Yeah.
And a way to, promote the game, just to have people, play a little bit.
Then again, on the other side, it's like, you got to turn that shit on anyway, so...
Right.
I don't know.
Why would you stress test without actually testing everything out? You know what I mean?
It's not ready if they're working on that build. Who knows?
At this point, though, I don't know, man. Like, if this blows up, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with games, man. Like, I'm not gonna deal with this shit anymore.
You know what's gonna be under-delivered, man.
I'm so tired of game manufacturers being like, "Oh, I'm gonna build this game," and then
Dude, it's been that way for years for like the AAA console games, like over and over and again. It's
getting worse though.
It is getting worse.
It has been like, oh, I'm disappointed, but now it's like constant and more impactful disappointment.
Well,
and
I think
What if it ends up being like Destiny?
that
Like, after a week, you find out there's not really shit to do.
like I would I thought that was the worst. But honestly, Need for Speed was the most biggest disappointment in a game that I ever had.
And it was because
It was because of a few things, like, and I don't want to get into that unless you want, but
yeah, get into it.
Go for it.
I mean, Need for Speed, like, it was advertised like, oh, it's gonna be like a highlight back kind of to Need for Speed Underground. So I'm thinking you can buy cars and they have customizations for everything, and that was the big thing they had.
We lost it.
Oh.
Actually, I think we're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Still,
so-
okay, sweet.
We'll see.
No, like, it was even marketed like, oh, look at all the great customization you can do, and they had real today cars, and they had real like aftermarket part manufacturers like in the game, like Rocket Bunny, and they had this one car which was a Subaru BRZ or Scion FRS, whatever you want to call it. And they had all these things changing around. You can change the bumpers, the wide body flares, you can change the wheels, put like hood scoops on, change the headlights and taillights. That is the only car in that game that you can do that to. There was a situation.
Yeah.
There's a situation where, like, you buy a car and you're like, oh, I can add all these things on, but they haven't rendered it to where they can add, like, we'll say a Rocket Bunny body kit. That doesn't exist for all the cars. It's only for a handful of cars, and if you buy a car and you try to mod it, it'll get to a point where it says, like, you'll roll around to where you can change the bumper or something, it'll say no parts available.
Yep.
And that's like more than 50% of the stuff on the car.
Well, I think what's mostly sickening to me about this trend that's going on with the AAA titles is that they're releasing these games, I don't want to say necessarily half finished, because that would like, I think they're releasing the game in what they consider to be the finished state, but they're like, oh, we'll actually finish it with DLC that we're going to make you pay for.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely not like a, oh, crap, the deadline has come up on us. We need to do something now. Let's get it out there so we don't piss off all our fans. No, it is a clear decision that we're going to get done to this point and then release it, and then we'll add more stuff later.
Yeah, like
And that'll keep customers enthralled in our franchise, so they think.
Yeah. That we're, like, supporting them. But, like, Battlefront is a fun game. But they released it with almost nothing. And then they're like, oh, don't worry, DLC's coming.
Like 10 maps, you know what I mean, and like 8 guns, and you got a bunch of emotes that you could choose from, and a bunch of different character skins. But that's it.
Who cares? Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing shit out of that game the last few.
It's a fun game.
But no, it's definitely lacking. It's gonna be like Titanfall, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. Like, and there's so many great games that are out there that they could actually, kind of mirror the way they do it. I mean, GTA is a great game for that. You bought the game once. I mean, what'd you pay? I think I paid $60 for a month.
Between $45 and $60, depending on. I think it was like a deal when I bought it.
All the DLC that comes out is free. I mean, granted, it's not more story missions like how they had like with the old GTAs where you had more missions to do on the campaign, but they're missions that you can do online. And you can create like this online persona and have your own houses and real estate and all that stuff. And I got really into it, and it's free. So like I'm on Facebook scrolling through one day, and I see, oh, a new DLC came out. Oh crap! And I get online at home and download it, and then I'm good to go. That's a game that's great like that. And then
Witcher does that too.
Witcher does, yeah.
Warframe. I don't know if you guys know that game, but I've been all into that game.
I can't play that game.
Yeah, it's pretty fast paced.
It's just weird. And I don't know if it's because of how they do it on... I don't know. The movement is very just awkward to me.
They actually did an update on the movement, so it's a little less...
Is it better?
But it's still fast-paced. It's just like that Vanquish game that came out for...
Yeah. I felt like I was walking on ice the entire time.
Yeah?
Yeah, just felt weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, that game's free DLC, and I want to say that while I was playing Destiny, because I quit Destiny a little bit, and then I came back, you know, but it was like DLC came out like almost every couple of months. Every month or so it came out, and it was like they had a few new characters and a few new guns and like a new quest chain that you can do. And I mean, it never got, and like they're like, oh, well, we hear
but the
people.
The upgrades in Destiny are so small that
Well, that's the thing. Like,
it doesn't really even matter that much, but it does matter that much.
yeah, if you look at the content that they had in Destiny, that they would say like, oh, we've done all this listening to our community. We really hear what you want, and like, really, all it is like a bunch of pages of changes and what they call balancing, which actually unbalances other things. So they constantly have their hand in the pot, and then maybe a few new missions or quests, you know what I mean, and like a little bit of new content, and like that to me is kind of BS. It's not delivered the way they said it was.
Oh no, not
You don't call yourself like an RPG game. You're going to be changing the future, and that's what you give people. You know what I mean? I would have expected major content patches at some point, and the fact that they make you pay for the ones that they do give you is an even more joke.
Well, and Fallout's another game that's sort of done this, where they've released the game, and the game core is okay. It's fun. I like it. There is so much wrong with that game, it's painful.
Yeah. But that game, the way it is set up, I think it is kind of unavoidable to be the way it is. Because even in GTA, like in any open world sandbox style game where you load in and it loads the whole map, like I feel like it's really hard for them to test every scenario.
It's not every scenario though. It is a janky game. The game is janky. There's so many of the mechanics are janky, not well thought out or well designed.
Yeah, I've had some weird. I mean, I've got some game clips on my stream.
We're losing our our powers.
It's dead.
So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch up on this. I mean, it'll come back and it'll show us.
Right. But we'll go.
Yeah, we're
at
at 3% here. So, thanks for coming out, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. We'll get you back on again. Tell us your opinions on games. If you agree with Connor or Marv, or if you have your own opinion on the matter, let us know in the comments. Check us out at RSGPodcast.com. You can also check us out at Random Subject Generator on Facebook, RSG Podcast at YouTube, RSG Podcast at Twitter, and I don't think there's any more social medias.
That's it.
That's it. So,
Tweets.
yeah. Oh yeah, Twitter, RSG Podcast. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
have a good night.
Tweets.
Peaches.